Hello my friends, it's Gabriel with the Last Huntsman channel here. So today I'm just kind of doing a little hike, a little patrol on the property, which I think is pretty important. Know your own property, especially when you got a decent amount of acreage. I also am testing out some gear. I'm packing around the Zastava M70 and trying out my poor man's AK chest rig, which is just a flick vest or FLC vest with some single layer AK mag pouches on it. Got about 6 mags on here. Just giving it a try. But, sometimes when I'm out hiking is when I do most of my thinking. And so I have been kind of thinking on a lot of things. Obviously, it seems the whole world's in chaos, or at least that's what they want you to perceive that it is. First of all, I'm going to say, there's roughly 365 times in the Bible that tells us to not live in fear. And, the spirit of fear makes people do really, really stupid things. So, whether it's balloons or trains or, what the hell else is going on out there, don't let it control or rule you or just obsess about it. But I've been kind of thinking about something else too that I think is kind of off the radar for a lot of people. And because I feel like I'm a decently spiritually strong type of guy, and I say that not only in the Christian aspect, but I kind of, if you know me personally, you know that I've kind of dabbled around with spirituality quite a bit, and so I feel like I'm more keen on some things than some people. And so one of the things that I've been noticing that actually kind of disturbs me is a lot of people are really, really hyping up the AI systems lately. Whether it's the Lambda or whatever Google's is called, or the ChatGPT, or whatever the hell they want to call them. They conjure up all kinds of names for these things. And, I can't help but notice with these AI systems, which whether or not they are actually sentient, self-thinking systems, I kind of have called BS on a lot of that. But I'm going to kind of take it in a slightly different direction. So, little side note here. Throughout all ancient history and even in the Bible, and even most particularly in the Book of Enoch, it talks about demons. Demons, just a short, sweet, and simple whole definition of them, is not what Hollywood tries to portray a demon to be, of, some little red dude with horns and a pitchfork. But demons are a disembodied spirit. And in the Book of Enoch, it describes them even more in depth as disembodied spirits of Nephilim. Well, we could, delve into that whole realm all day long. But where I'm kind of getting with this is that a demon is constantly leeching and looking for something to latch onto that can give it some sense of form and entity. And so with AI, you're kind of almost opening the doors to giving a demon power and authority. Now, something to take note on with a demon or an AI or, a Ouija board or any of the occultic, witchcraft, spirituality type of things is when you really just cut past all the bullshit, they don't have any power. They don't have any power over you. They don't have any power over anything. The only power that they have is what you give it. So just like a Ouija board, when, you try to give, something power or authority, well, it's going to take it. And just like AI, it's not like an artificial intelligence system just inherently has power on its own. It's not like it just is going to jump out or have some form or sentience on its own. Everything that it has is what we, humanity, give to it. So, for a long time, I've been saying I'm going to set a red line in the sand on what forms of technology am I not going to use. Because, as a Christian, as a man of God, I have to set a limit on what I'm going to use. Just like I'm not going to use a Ouija board, or I'm not going to do some weird ritual and, summon some entity. I'm not going to use AI for the exact same reason. And I even see a lot of people, even on the so-called right, which, I don't even think that makes any difference anymore, that they're even like hyping up the ChatGPT and, trying to give it a character, such as Dan, and give it power and authority. And in my opinion, very strong opinion, you're playing with a demon. And the more that you give it, the more power and authority it's going to have. But I just want you all to remember that it doesn't have any power or authority unless you give it to it. It's not like it's going to turn on the screen on its own and just start commanding things. It's only going to do that with whatever you give it the ability to do that with. And so, I guess moral of the story is use your discernment and don't associate with the demonic entities, even in a modernized platform such as artificial intelligence. Because really, not only is it anti-human at its core, but it's also doesn't really have any true power. And as a Christian, we shouldn't be dabbling in such things. Speaking of AI and 5G and all the towers and cell service and such like that, something to take note on too is that Satan, Lucifer, his minions, and all those who serve under him, something that they don't have that God has is that they are not omnipresent. God is here, now, in the past, in the future, and currently all at once. Satan is not. And so for him to get his New World Order, Antichrist type kingdom established, he has to create an artificial omnipresence. And I think part of that is going to be utilized using artificial intelligence and the so-called Internet of Things. Just imagine it, that it's, 2030 or something, and you have your everything connected to you, including your microchip and screen constantly in your face and all that, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, your quote-unquote new Messiah has a message for you. So, with all that being said, be prepared both physically and spiritually. God bless, and carry on.